Shalom and welcome to Myers The Torah. This year is entitled Daf Yomi Sanhedrin. Daf Vet. Gemara is talking about the different ways that the Sanhedrin executes a sinner. The previous year we talked about the Arba Mitot Beitin, specifically Skila. We read through the list. On the list is a man who sleeps with another man, Mishkav Zachor, someone who acts out in the area of homosexuality. Very, very challenging topic, especially in our generation. Someone says, listen, what am I to do? I have no desire for a woman at all. So the fact is, there are those who have desire for men and desire for women. So that would mean that, yes, he cannot follow the desire for the men at all. He only can marry a woman. And Yetz Hashem, love his wife, raise a family. And the fact he has an attraction to the men, so he has to control it and do his best to avoid it. And just like he avoids yichud with other women, he probably should avoid being with another man and not being any kind of tempting situation with another man. But at least he could have a satisfying life with his wife in Yetz Hashem. What a better person says, I have no desire whatsoever to be with a woman. It just means nothing to me. Nothing. I would love to be married. I'd love to raise a family. I have no desire. My only desire is when I see other men. So there have been different opinions over the years, different rabbis over the years. Some would say, oh, it's only rebellious. He's just doing it to buck the system. I think many would say that that's just not the case. And many that men, whether it's because of nature or nurture, whatever it may be, the man says, listen, I would love to be married according to Torah and mitzvahs and raise a family. I have no desire. And I don't think it's simple to assume, yes, he's just rebelling. So what do we do in such a case? So the fact is, it's a tragic, tragic case. Because assuming that he understands himself well enough, and he only has a desire for other men, and zero desire for a woman, to go ahead and get married to a woman, have no desire for her, and for her to be in such a situation, him to be in such a situation, that's agmas nefesh, it's torture. And that's, of course, if he lets her know before. If he doesn't let her know, then it's a mekach ta'ut. It's just an unbelievable, misleading act. So what should he do? He cannot be married to a woman unless he would agree and she would agree, and they'd be guided with the rabbi how they could work it out. But that's not simple. So assuming he cannot be married, so then what? So he's not with a woman because he cannot be. He has no desire for a man. So I know desire for a woman, and he only has desire for a man, and that's prohibited. So must he lead a life of solitude and frustration? Well, from a sexual standpoint, yes, it's going to be a very frustrating life and a difficult life. As the Rav said famously, sometimes we must surrender to the Almighty. And it's a surrender, it's Mesirat Nefesh, and it's so challenging and so difficult and so hard. And lacking that physical intimacy and the emotional intimacy that comes along when someone has the intimacy that the Torah talks about, and this man cannot have it. And if he acts on it, the Rambam says, it's one of the violations of Skila. It's a tragic, tragic case. As tragic as it is, the Torah doesn't give a heter, a permit for it. It's a tragedy. And unfortunately, there are tragic cases in the Torah. A Kohen finds a woman finally after so many years, and she's perfect for him. She's great. And he went for years trying to find the shidduch. Turns out he didn't realize she's a Gioret, she's a convert, and they can't get married. It's a tragedy. Each one is its own kind of tragedy. Not to compare one tragedy with another tragedy. Each one is a tragedy. And in each case, we say we must surrender to the Almighty and have a life of unbelievable Mesiras Nefesh. Not simple. It's quite difficult. Maybe a little bit on the hum, a little consolation is in terms of the ultimate judgment to Hashem, in terms of Olam Haba. Maybe someone has such a frustrating life down here, but if a person is mizgaber and is able not to give in, and he follows the halacha, and he follows the Torah, and lives a life of frustration in this area, in the future, in terms of the eternal existence, could be a life of unbelievable spiritual pleasure. Shalom.